Hello, everyone. This is X Walkill Bethelite here. I want to take this time to sincerely apologize to anyone who was offended or upset by my last video about the article on jw.org. Do Jehovah's Witnesses shun former members? I woke up doing research on shunning and disfellowshipping because I'm thinking there's no way this can be a Christian practice because of the cruelty involved. So I'm thinking I got to find something in the Bible that dispels this horrific practice of just totally destroying families. And in doing so, in my Google searches, I saw an article that said, "Do Jehovah's Witnesses shun former members?" And I'm thinking, well, of course the answer is yes. And I saw under that it was from jw.org. Now, I do not frequent jw.org, but I thought, well, let me click on the article while I'm doing research and just see what it says. Well, the article shocked me because I don't think I had ever read it before. And I was looking at it on my phone. So I don't know if maybe when you look at it from a computer, it shows the date the article was given and what have you. But I didn't see the date on my phone. And because the information was so dramatically different from anything I saw growing up. Keep in mind, I grew up in the organization. I've got close relatives that were disfellowship, and I knew how we had to treat them. I had close friends that were disfellowship, and my eyes would tear up after the meeting when everyone would start fellowshipping and talking, and the disfellowship person was left standing there with their head down. They're already embarrassed enough with the announcement being made. And of course, now everyone knows that they've done something. And now everyone turns their back on them right when they probably need the most encouragement. So as I read that article and saw things like blood ties not severed, I'm thinking, what? That is totally different from anything that I've seen or read prior. Because blood ties are, of course, severed when you can't even speak to someone. I saw a statement saying something to the effect of regular family affections continuing. And I'm thinking, what? you know, and I know the example was of a husband and a wife and his family, but of course, the husband and wife aren't blood ties. So I'm thinking, well, that has to extend beyond just a husband scenario. So I called my sister and tell her about the information that just seems so much softer and so much gentler. Keep in mind the level that the organization goes to in order to trick people was just beyond me, because when I read that article, the concept of, well, maybe they just put that there because it's in the frequently asked questions section that non-members would probably look at. Maybe they just put that there to trick people. The concept never crossed my mind. I'm just not that devious to just think that that's what they're doing. So I thought that was a legitimate article right there on jw.org. So I tell my sister about it, and there's another friend that I have that still believes in the organization, but he does not attend. He hasn't attended in as long as I can remember. And when I talk to him, I talk pretty openly about the fact that I have no intention on going back. And I tell him I don't think he's got any intention of going back. So when he brings up the organization, I say, why bring it up? Why keep bringing it up Excuse me. Why keep bringing it up if none of us are going back there? So I talked to him and read the article. It was such a short article. I read the whole thing to him. And he hasn't been in a while. I'm sure he hasn't been looking at jw.org, so he hadn't heard the article either. And he thought the same thing. He's like, wow, that's so much nicer. And he said, this is someone who still believes, said, people believe the organization breaks up families. And this article solves that problem. So not only am I shocked, and while I'm talking to him, I'm outside pacing because the emotional effect that has, and it has nothing to do with thinking about going back. No, no. It had everything to do with feeling that people wouldn't have to go through the horrors that I saw growing up because of the shunning policy. Far from thinking about going back, the thought makes me sick to my stomach. What I was thinking was that people that I care about may not have to feel the full brunt of what I saw growing up. And he thought the same thing because I had a relative who was disfellowshipped because of sexual conduct. That person then got married, and there was controversy as to, well, now what do we do? Because the person getting married is disfellowshipped. Can we attend the wedding and participate in the wedding? And I'm thinking in my mind at the time, this is either while I was at Bethel or prior to me going to Bethel. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, she's doing the right thing. Why would we, need to, not attend or not support her if she's doing the right thing? And it was the shunning policy was what people were concerned about, and losing privileges and things like that. And when I told him about that, he said, well, it makes sense because of things like that. People getting married and being disfellowshipped, and can you go to the wedding when they're doing the right thing? He thought that article solved that problem. So I had been on the phone with people talking about that article. I text another close relative who is a current witness about that article, and they said they would look over it as soon as they got home from work. And I did a video about doing all of this without stopping and thinking, maybe they're just being dishonest. Maybe they're just putting this out there to fool people. Maybe they're purposely being deceptive. That concept did not come across my mind. So it looks like that's what they did. Because you look at that article, and then you look at articles that were made after that article was put out, and the disfellowshipping process in those articles seem to be the same, unless they change something in the future. The other articles that I looked up after that seem to be the same. So I was totally confused as I'm looking at the article, Do Jehovah's Witnesses Shun Former Members? And they're basically saying no, talking about things as if it is difficult to get disfellowship. Like they're saying it like, well, you have to do something really bad and do it multiple times before getting disfellowship. And I'm looking at this, and then I'm looking at other articles that you look up on jw.org about disfellowshipping that were printed after that article. And it almost reads the opposite of what this article is saying. And that's when it hit me. Of course, I had already made the video and already was telling all my friends about it, and already was emotionally so drained by reading that and thinking that they've softened up on that I had to go to sleep. I took a nap. It took so much out of me. I found out that the only thing I can think that they were doing was being deceptive by putting out information like that. Because my friend said, well, if this applies to immediate family, they could have easily printed the phrase immediate family. They chose not to print the phrase only immediate family can speak to each other. And they chose not to print the phrase only if necessary are they supposed to speak to each other. They chose not to do that. And the only reason I can think that they would choose not to write that down is in order to be deceptive. And I was so upset that I did call Bethel and actually have that phone conversation recorded. I did call Bethel and got a hold of someone at Patterson in the service department. And this person refused to answer my questions over the phone. I didn't speak to him in an irate manner. I told him that this article is confusing, and I'm currently in communication with several people about this article, and we want clarification. He refused to give clarification over the phone. I was shocked. It was like being in the Twilight Zone. I'm on the phone with someone from Bethel. I worked at Bethel. I'm on the phone with someone at Bethel, and it's like talking to someone in Scientology, talking you in circles and telling you they will not answer your question over the phone. You have to send a letter and hope they send one back. They refuse to answer questions. And I'm like, wow, because we when I was at Bethel, I thought we had the truth. If someone would have asked me a question, I would have happily answered. But for them to be dancing around and avoiding questions, is it even possible that they believe they have the truth and they have to be deceptive? So after asking him several times, this is a simple question about the shunning policy. Is this article correct reflection of the current policy? The article, do Jehovah's Witnesses shun former members? Is that a correct representation of how witnesses put that in practice? And he refused to answer the question. So again, it's like they're just blatantly being dishonest about that. So hopefully people look at that. People look at what they put in the frequently asked questions section, and they look at the rest of the articles, and an honest witness will have to say, okay, this is a little bit deceptive here, because it doesn't sound bad in the frequently asked questions, and we know it's bad. So again, I want to apologize to anyone who saw that and got as excited and upset as I did about it. And as always, feel free to contact me. My number 937-607-5085. My email is bethelite7@yahoo.com. Send me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call, and as long as I'm not busy or working or something, I'll try to get back to you. So that's ex-Wallkill Bethelite signing out.